fantasy move for a 5-0 team right
That's right. I'm staying on top of it.
Adam Thielen's heading
Put it here this time, hopefully. We tried to do it last time.
now recording on my phone.
Zach commented on our Instagram post.
Did it to yourself.
It's gonna be a fun one tonight. The New York Knicks knock off the Boston Celtics in Madison Square Garden. They take a commanding, and I don't know if you can stress the word commanding enough, a commanding 3-1 lead over the Boston Celtics. I mean, I said last night, Jason Tatum needed to go be a killer. He needed to go have a game where he's going to go. I literally verbatim said, go score 40. And he did that tonight. He did everything that was asked of him. He hit 7 threes. He knocked down 7 threes tonight. He scored 42 points. He had 8 rebounds. He was setting the team up all night long. That was the Jason Tatum I wanted to see. And then, unfortunately, just the worst thing that could possibly happen, it happened. And while nothing official has come out yet, it is looking like he's going to be out for the rest of this series and maybe even a little bit longer. Obviously, hoping that doesn't happen. But how much of a backbreaker? Because I think it was Brian Winters actually that was talking on here during halftime of the Warriors game. Said someone was in there and said that they had never heard it quieter in that Boston locker room. How much of a backbreaker is a Jason Tatum injury to this team?
I mean, you could feel it right after it happened. The energy of the team, it was gone. You know, it was a close game there. Right whenever Tatum went down, the Knicks were spreading it out just a little bit. It seemed like they were trying to take control of the game, but the Celtics were still well within that game. But after he went out, you just felt the hope, whatever little bit of hope there was there for the Celtics to hold on to that game. And it really was all Jason Tatum. Down the stretch, it felt like nobody was helping him. It was Jason Tatum trying to will the Celtics to a win, and he was doing a pretty good job of it. But yeah, I mean, you just felt it. It's got to be tough to try and regroup right after it happens. We'll see how well they can try and regroup, you know, with a day in between or 2 days. I'm not sure how many days in between games here, but it feels very dire for the Celtics, unfortunately, coming off of such a tough injury.
It's kind of one of those things when you look at this Boston team and the way it's constructed, is they're already playing basically a 7-man rotation. Luke Kornet's getting out there. He played 8 minutes tonight. This is basically a 7-man rotation with Porzingis and Pritchard off the bench. Porzingis did not play well tonight. Pritchard did not play well tonight. And I guess the same could be, I mean, you really looked at Jason Tatum and Derek White, and that was really it. I mean, Jaylen Brown, he scored 20, but it wasn't the prettiest 20 that you've ever seen. So now you're going from running a 7-man rotation to where, okay, Peyton Pritchard, who I think is capable of starting and performing well, now he has to go and start and perform well. I mean, who else do you bring in? You're going to have Kornet play probably pretty valuable minutes. Maybe you go Porzingis in the starting rotation. That wouldn't shock me, although I really thought that if anyone cost them tonight, it was Porzingis. He just, I don't know if maybe it's time to say the Porzingis, it's time to off the Porzingis train. But, you know, he was absolutely, he did not play well tonight at all. And, you know, haven't really seen, I mean, have we seen a team really go from, okay, there is a championship opportunity here to it's kind of the end of the season that quickly?
I mean, it's maybe the Warriors whenever they had Durant go down with that Achilles and Clay, I think same series he went out too.
Yeah.
Possibly that one. That's the first one that comes to mind. It feels somewhat similar. But man, yeah, it's just Porzingis, it feels like just a string of bad luck here for the Celtics. They had some minor injuries in that first series against the Magic. nothing really that we felt was going to hinder them from winning that series, and it didn't. Porzingis dealing with whatever that illness is or lingering effects from the illness that he had. He hasn't looked the same at all since being back. Hasn't looked great in the playoffs. And like yeah, it felt like he was hurting them a lot more than helping them tonight in the minutes he was playing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the minutes. I don't know who you really go to. You can't obviously replace Jason Tatum and his production. So it doesn't look great. I don't know. Maybe Jaylen Brown shows a little something, shows why he was Finals MVP, possibly. But let's not take anything away from the Knicks, though, because Brunson played unbelievable tonight. He played so well. He was willing the Knicks to that win just as much as Tatum was trying to will the Celtics to that win. It was fun to watch. Also, huge shot making possessions from OG and Mikal. I thought Bridges was, every time Bridges went to that runner in the lane, fadeaway runner in the lane, it felt like it was going in. I think he was like 2 of 3 on those, or 3 or 4 on those in the fourth quarter. Huge shots that they made that kind of helped. And I think that was the big swing. Obviously, the injury was the big swing, but when it felt like the Knicks were starting to take control, it was Brunson and OG and Mikal Bridges, and then on the other side, it was just Jason Tatum. Outside of Derek White's good first half, and he had a couple shots there in the second half, but I think that was the biggest difference in the way the game was going before the injury.
Yeah, and I do not want to take anything away from the New York Knicks. I thought they played phenomenal, and honestly, I think if Tatum would have even not been injured, I still think the Knicks would have won this game. I thought they were in the position to win the game. You said it best, Mikal Bridges. I mean, didn't shoot the ball well from outside, but anytime he went to that mid range, it felt like it was going in every single time, especially late in the game. There were so many possessions there where he had the ball in his hands, and it was just, you were at the mercy of him. And a lot of that was set up by OG Anunoby on the defensive side of the ball, who played phenomenal tonight on that end. And he knocked down 4 threes as well. I really thought that the way the Knicks played tonight, and Nolan had said it in chat, they had 4 players score 20 or more points. The Knicks are constructed in a way, they're not constructed on depth. They're just not. They're constructed on their rotation to put up, everyone score 15, 20 points and win. And that is, outside of Josh Hart, that is what happened. Yeah, I thought what you said, Bridges, with Jalen Brunson. I mean, listen, you can say what you will about the foul baiting stuff, and I'm all for those conversations, but I mean, he's just an unbelievable player. Whenever he gets into that zone, he willed them back when they fell down. They fell down 14.
Yeah, down 14.
And Brunson was arguably the biggest part in them getting back into this game and obviously taking the lead. I thought they also got really good minutes tonight from Mitchell Robinson off of the bench. He had 5 offensive rebounds. That was very huge. I mean, maybe it doesn't stick out on the stat sheet. Maybe it doesn't kind of stick out in the grand scheme of things. But I thought when he was out there and he was playing, he was really helping out this New York Knicks team. He helped them get back into this game as well. 25 minutes of play. They also run a 7-man rotation. I am really intrigued here because you talked about it a little bit. I don't think that this series is necessarily signed, sealed, and delivered. While it looks like it's in the favor of New York, they've got the 3-1 lead. The Celtics' best player is seemingly out for the rest of the series. The Celtics still have a lot of talent. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the Knicks, but they've got to go and they've got to take care of business in the TD Garden in Game 5. They cannot get, I mean, like you said, I mean, the energy was absolutely gone from Boston when Tatum went down. You cannot give them any energy. You cannot give them any life. You have to keep the foot on the gas. Mikal Bridges has got to, they have to keep continuing playing how they played tonight. And that starts with Jalen Brunson. And he was an absolute leader tonight. He had 39 points. He had 12 assists. I mean, what else can you say about him? But this team, I think that last night we saw everything the Pacers can be. I think tonight we saw everything that the Knicks can be too.
Yeah, I think they've turned a lot of heads. I think I wasn't high on them coming into these playoffs, but I mean, I think a lot of it felt like at some point with how little guys they play in the rotation and how Tibbs keeps his starters out almost the entire game, if it just feels like, okay, they eventually have to slow down. They eventually have to, fall apart, but they don't. And that's a credit to all those guys, and they play hard all game. And it's not crazy to think that the Knicks have a chance to win a title here either.
So, and that's kind of where my next question comes into play here with that is, should they advance, they will play one of the Cavaliers or the Pacers, who notably play very up-tempo. They score a lot of points. They get up and down. They move quick. That's going to wear and tear on a team that's already played through 2 series thus far in the playoffs. Do you think that it's going to catch up with them? Maybe not at first in the conference finals, but once you start seeing them get into Game 4, Game 5, Game 6, do you kind of think that wear and tear is going to start to catch up to them?
It's definitely a potential of happening. Now, them possibly ending this series in 5 games is going to be huge for them. A little bit of rest before the next series starts. Potentially rest on the other side as well. So, kind of cancels each other out. It felt like at times throughout the series the Celtics tried to play up tempo. I don't know if that was because of how short the rotation is for the Knicks, but I don't know. I never feel like I've seen them winded or look like they're tired out there. So I mean, I can't say that it's going to happen. It's very impressive. I mean, they're world-class athletes. They trained to do this. So it's not all surprising, but I don't think you can bank on that happening if you're going in and playing the Knicks. So I haven't seen them get tired, and I don't expect to see them get tired yet, even though it doesn't make sense, but somehow they just keep going.